Guys, welcome back to another Vanguard video. Today we're here talking about the Sweetlinker deck, aka Vraty. So we just got a reveal today. We knew we were having some kind of Angel Feather mechanic, but here is the boss unit themselves. Gonna get straight into it. So we have the new SweetLink keyword, continuous. If you have another card with the same name as this card in your soul, this card is in the SweetLink state, and this is relevant for some extra effects of some cards. Then auto Vanguard circle at the start of your battle phase, you soul charge 1, so this isn't tied to anything. Perform one of the following based on the card's soul charge. If this unit is in the SweetLink state, all of your rears get +5 until end of turn, so it's kind of a bonus if this unit is in SweetLink state, and of course you'll get that when you Persona Ride, or if you shove in, the same name card into soul very early. There are lots of rears that do this, so it looks very, very easy to do. So you perform the following. So if you soul charge a trigger unit until end of turn, you get crit +1 to your Vanguard, then all your front row units get +5, of course that includes Van and your rears, and spoilers, there is a restanding rear, so of course that's really, really good. +5 to your entire board is really good power redistribution. Then if you soul charge a non-trigger unit, so this is the other effect if you don't soul charge a trigger unit, then this unit gets triple drive and power +10 until end of turn. So either way you're getting crit +1 or triple drive, because for the last skill, auto Vanguard circle at the end of your turn, you cost counter +1, return 6 cards with Sweetlinker and their different card names from your soul to your deck. You choose a card for your damage zone, heal it, and shuffle your deck. And you could also, of course, because you're paying cost first, heal what you CB'd. And you can also heal, face-up damage as well, which is important, because a lot of DZ cards usually will, if you're healing, specify face-down sometimes. Usually that's only for grabbing effects. But yeah, Sweetlinker Vraty looks very, very good. And I think more importantly, once we get to the rears, the deck looks extremely cohesive for just wave 1. Usually a lot of the time that we'll see with Lyrical reveals usually is that they'll have a lot of problems, and then like their second wave or dress-up will solve that. But this deck looks very, very cohesive just from one. So I'm really excited, honestly, for once for Lyrical reveals. I know that makes me sound like an absolute hater, because honestly I don't play any Lyrical decks. I'll be totally real about that. But yeah, this deck looks really, really cohesive just from one wave of support. We have a Rockagore, we have Shove the Soul CC, and then of course you also have the usual Lyrical generics that you can throw in here. Of course your Stregas, your Orders, whatever else, of course the new Shenri as well, but this isn't actually a dress up, so it won't proc. Unfortunately, this deck doesn't seem to really play Orders unless you want like super aesthetic shot along with the +5 to all your front row units to kind of just be winning harder, because with SweetLink state, giving +5 to all your rears, if you do have the SweetLink state for Vraty plus aesthetic shot, you're +10 to all your rears, which is pretty bonkers. It's like if you hit Lyrical OT. So I do think Vraty is really, really strong, and there is a Rockagore, so the deck can do 5 attacks. It's not a 4 attack deck, thankfully. And of course, being able to heal a damage essentially every turn is really, really strong. There's a lot of easy Shove the Soul from drop effects. Getting the 6 different might be hard after a few turns, but the whole point is that the deck is a lot more tanky, because essentially every turn you're fulfilling that condition of returning 6, you are going to be healing a damage, and that makes you so much tanky in the long game, especially against hyper offensive decks, or if you got rushed early to like 4 or 5 damage and you really just need to have a chance to stay in the game. And of course triple drive, the extra drive if you do soul charge a non-trigger unit for the start of battle phase effect, is just another chance to really get you back into the game and really just get you some real shield into hand, hopefully off your 3 drives. So you could play the ace unit because there's only really one rear that uses energy, which is the restander. This deck, thankfully, the Van does not use energy, so you have a lot more energy to work with in terms of going first and second, which is really, really big, I think, for the decks. And you could also throw in, your usual Precios, whatever else to burn energy. But yeah, it looks like the generics are going to be a little bit harder to fit in because, again, you want the different Sweetlinker names. But of course, your usual stuff like your Regulus and your Ace units should still be very fine as one-ups. But usually you will probably see 3 to 4 of Sweetlinkers because, to get that additional effect and get into the SweetLink state, you want to already have a card of the same name into your soul. So this deck will probably orient a little bit more around playing playsets once I think people cook board lists, because again, it's not on CFA, and of course, obviously the set's not out in JP or English. But I think overall, just looking at the Vanguard alone, before we even get into rear supports that I spoiled, the Van looks amazing, very cohesive. Really liking how they're taking the Lyrical design, at least for this set. I think the dress up for Fennel, I didn't make a video on it, but it was looking really, really good in terms of upgrade. Doesn't really change how Fennel plays, but kind of just upgraded the deck a little bit. Alright, so that pretty much does it for Vraty and my thoughts in terms of throwing in generics. It might be a little bit hard because the deck doesn't actually play in order every turn, but I'm going to talk about the red line first, and then we'll get to the rears that look really, really good. We're going to go in opposite order here, so we have Sweetlinker Hamstella. This is the Rotapon, the usual starter. If you want second, draw a card. Then for the grade 1, we have Sweetlinker Vraty, and this has the SweetLink continuous, text again to get into the SweetLink state. All of the Rideline also have it as well, in case you wanted to play them in main deck, because, you're essentially guaranteeing them in your soul for the ride deck. Then you have the Auto and Rotapod by Sweetlinker Squirrel. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards with Sweetlinker and its card name, reveal them, choose up to 1 of the reveal cards, put into your hand, and then you choose up to 1 of the rest of the reveal cards, put into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So a little bit weird wording there, but basically you get to grab 1 to hand and 1 to soul, which is super, super strong. So you probably don't want to play Ballista Rideline, which kind of sucks, I guess, because you do lose on that extra draw power. Every Lyrical deck at this point feels like it's playing Ballista Rideline, but this is super strong, like free filter, and you get that soul and hand. And again, most of your deck is going to be, if not all of it, Sweetlinker cards. Then continues Vanguard Circle. If it's in the SweetLink states, it gets +2, also active during your opponent's turn. So this is the grade 2 for the Rotapod effects, and it has a SweetLink state. If it's in SweetLink state, it gets boost, so it's 10k booster. Then Auto and Rotapod by a grade 3 card with Sweetlinker in its card name. You choose a card from your hand and you may call to Vanguard Circle. If you called, you get to search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that unit. Put into your soul, shuffle your deck, and draw a card. So technically you could call Persona Ride, it would feel really bad, and then shove in Persona Ride from deck into soul to guarantee that +5 to all your rears. So it's really nice that the Rideline isn't RNG at all. And of course, if you're calling any of your really strong rears, you guarantee essentially that same name into your soul to guarantee the SweetLink state for them and get that additional effect, which is really strong, especially going into the future too. So I think for DZ Rideline, this is pretty amazing. Sure, you could argue the grade 1 doesn't do anything for whiffing, but in terms of design, this is really strong. And again, none of this is using soul, CB, or energy. So it's essentially free, which is crazy. So I think just looking at Rideline and Vanguard again, before even getting to the rears, the deck looks really, really strong. Alright, so first off, we have the triple rare Sweetlinker Lycorie. So SweetLink continuous, if you have another card with the same name, again, SweetLink state. Auto when placed on Vanguard Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Sweetlinker in its card name, choose up to 1 card from your drop and put it into your soul. This is really, really nice because this will be active for the Rideline grade 2 as well. It doesn't really check your Van or specific Vanguard name, so just on place early game, it's free soul. And then you have the optional cost of Energy Blast 3. If you do pay that cost, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call to Vanguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. So you can call anything. It doesn't even have to be SweetLink state, so you could essentially call a PG, then bounce it with Yuika or a Franchette. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 greater and this unit is in the SweetLink state, both the called unit and this unit get +5 until end of turn, which is really, really good because this is the restander. So auto Vanguard Circle, when your grade 3 greater Vanguard with SweetLinker and its card name attacks, you cost counterblasting, stand this unit, and it gets +5k power until end of turn. So wow, wow, wow. +5, +5. None of this is checking your opponent's Vanguard except for, the second skill where it's giving +5, +5 to a unit. But yeah, this isn't even accounting for boost. This isn't even accounting for the +5, if you do have Van in the SweetLinker state. So a lot of power stacking really fast. And of course, that restand is kind of, I don't want to compare it to Rockagore, but I'll call it the Rockagore clone because it's, CB1 restanding +5. And that restand effect isn't basically tied to if another card stood that turn. So this is really, really easy. 5 attacks going first. And your Van will have a crit pressure or triple drive. So just like this card is just so good. There's no other words to say it. For a card, like a wave 1 release, this card is just insane. At worst, this card is just getting you free soul for being placed early. And of course, when you call this off the Rideline, you'll guarantee that SweetLink state shoving it in as long as it's in your hand and you call it off that grade 2 Rotapod effect. And then of course, the CB1 restand is just so good. And of course, it's not tied to your opponent's Vanguard grade at all. So you're an easy 5 attack deck if you have the counterblast going first. And there's also countercharge in this deck, and again, that's not even counting the other generics you could throw into Lyrical. So yeah, I think this deck is just looking it looks really, really fun, and it looks actually competitive, which is like crazy, I know, to say about a Lyrical deck. Not that I'm a Lyrical hater, but honestly, Lyrical hasn't really been getting any good boss. Like this year has not been Lyrical's year. Artisaria was kind of and like Kyrie is decent, but not really competitive enough. I think definitely Lishkafel and Chris Rain were the more quote-unquote competitive decks, but even then they weren't really pushed to a level where I would really feel like I would say Lyrical's generic. Lyrical has really felt like an afterthought this year. So I think with this set, obviously the Lyrical DZ set 2, things look a lot better, and SweetLinker looks extremely fun to play. Just in terms of just like rewarding yourself for getting these combo pieces off of getting the SweetLink state and getting that heal one off Vanguard. But yeah, this rear is just amazing. Like, check top 5 call. Again, you could call PG any of your other Sweetlinker pieces you need, and a lot of them also have on places to get you soul from drop in other places as well. So getting the 6 different isn't the hardest thing in the world. Alright, so now for some double rares, we have Sweetlinker Parlget. So again, Sweetlink continuous, the special keyword, continues Vanguard circle during your turn if this unit is in the Sweetlink state. All of your other units in the same column get plus 5k. Crazy. You're buffing up your restander even further, and this is without it having to do anything else, without having to pay any cost. Then auto Vanguard circle at the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have Vanguard with Sweetlinker in its card name, you cost put this unit into your soul and countercharge 1. So that is just bonkers because you don't need to have Sweetlink state to have that shove to soul CC, and of course because it puts itself to soul, if you have another one of these on your board, you're setting up that plus 5k pump for whatever unit is in front of it. So wow, just like amazing. The fact that you don't have to like check for this continuous keyword during battle phase, it just always checks continuously, is just so good. Like, wow. Next up we have Sweetlinker Sucre. So again, Sweetlink continuous Vanguard circle during your turn. If you have a great through gooder Vanguard with Sweetlinker's card name, it gets plus 5. Then if this unit is in the Sweetlink state, it gets an additional plus 5. And again, this is checking your Vanguard, so this will be active when your opponent's on grade 2. Auto Vanguard circle at the end of the battle that this unit attacked a Vanguard. If you have Vanguard with Sweetlinker in its card name, at the end of the battle, cost put this unit into your soul and draw 1. So just amazing, fueling rears into soul, draw 1. Good cycle to draw your PGs, whatever pieces you need, your persona ride. So yeah, just looking at those first 3 rears, you got a restander, easy soul maneuver, shove to soul, countercharge 1, and this is just like essentially, it's better brachio because you get to shove it to soul, draw 1, and it's becoming very, very big in terms of power. And again, this is not counting the plus 5 you would get from the CC that we just looked at. This is not counting the plus 5 from the van from Vraty. So this card can spiral pretty fast into massive power. So just amazing card all around, just from those first 3 rears we looked at. So next up is a rare in Sweetlinker Autina. So auto when placed on Vanguard circle or put on hand from Guardian circle, you can choose a card with Sweetlinker in its card name from your drop and put into your soul, and then continuous Vanguard circle Guardian circle if this unit is in the Sweetlink state. This unit gets plus 5k power and plus 5k shield. So pretty cool. You can also choose the same name to shove into soul. So if you put Autina on Guardian circle, then shove into soul, bam, it's in the Sweetlink state, and then wow, just like that, it's a 10k shield. So I think that's really cool in terms of guarding mechanics. And of course, just more soul fodder from drop into soul. You are going to want the different names. So I think the ratios in terms of deck list are going to be really hard. So really not sure because I haven't actually, made the deck list on CFA, or, we obviously don't have the official card list out yet to see exactly how the ratios would go. That's why I was speculating more about the Ace unit and Regulus. But again, another really cool cards in terms of design. And of course, 10k shield increments are really nice in standard, so you don't have to give up a 15k shield. Alright, next up is Sweetlinker Pechelne. I thought this was Fennel at first, but it's not. You have auto when discarded from hand during your turn, you may put this card into soul, so easy ride deck ditch fodder, or when pitching for a cost, just free soul just like that. Then act on soul if you have a grade 3 gooder Vanguard with Sweetlinker's card name, and this unit is in the Sweetlink state, you cost put this card into your drop, choose a card with Sweetlinker in a specific card of your drop, and put into your soul. So kind of more soul maneuver in order to set up the 6 different for Vraty skill in order to heal 1, and of course, being pitched, shoving itself into soul will immediately just set up its Sweetlinker state, which is pretty easy. I mean, you do need it for the act and soul cost, but more soul, more free pitching is really nice. So for a common, this is quite a good card. Not too sure if you are going to be playing 3 to 4 of it, but it's easy soul utility for the deck on top of everything else. So I think the deck archetype in itself kind of does want to build on its own cards and looks pretty straightforward in terms of building. But again, I'm not really Lyrical chef, so I'll leave that to the peeps to kind of figure it out. But yeah, this looks like just a really good, again, soul utility card. And the fact that it has act and soul is really nice too. So it's super easy to get off, which is just really good. Especially when you ditch multiple of these for a ride up and you'll get them into soul. Easy Sweetlinker state, easy soul utility. Bang, bang, bong. There you go. You got the 6 different, heal 1. It's easy, just like that. So yeah, that pretty much does it for me for Sweetlinker. Honestly, I was a lot more excited for this than I thought. Like, genuinely, I think the card design for Lyrical, it looks like they're trying to take it in a direction that does make it look way better than whatever they were doing before. I just hope they do give more loves to the, older Lyrical ride lines in DZ-LBT02. We also have next Thursday, we have reprints for Lyrical that could be really big, you know, maybe reprint for Frenchette, Copium, you know, the billionth reprint for Eureka and whatnot. So hopefully those reprints will be really good. Hopefully also effect triggers as well. That'd be really nice to get them as res, just easy cards, you know, to reprint in bulk in the set. Then November and December, we have the JP tournament promos getting revealed, and these include a promo for Harry and Night Rose. As we see, they are grade 3 like the other promos that we have gotten for these Stride deck sets. So pretty big, hopefully upgrades for those decks. I think Harry definitely needs it the most. I do have an updated list that will come later. It's sometime this month for the Shop Monthly promos that does include the Pale Moon card. So that's a decent upgrade for Harry, but really only does something on its Dragon Masquerade turn, on its kill turn. And I think Night Rose is still quite playable even in this meta. Even though there is removal and, you know, annoying bind, you know, you have to play Angel Ladder to essentially protect your hostage and whatnot. But I do hope that these cards do help with the deck set. So it kind of shows they haven't forgotten about Stride deck sets. And, you know, we are likely to still get support in the future, and maybe a new Stride for, you know, Shiranui, Luard, and the deck sets, etc. in the future, in sets. Who knows when that'll happen. But yeah, that pretty much does it. I think Vraty is pretty self-explanatory in terms of the cards and the effects. It looks really strong, a lot of easy power, a lot of easy multi-attack, and a very strong heal effect to just get you back into the game and either save you hand cards or put you back into a position where you don't feel necessarily as threatened, and, you know, just help you stabilize, which is really important for tempo in standard right now. So I think it looks really fun. Also very competitive, lots of easy, you know, resources, can't really get damage denied, easy soul charge, counter charge, might need a little bit more superior calling, but your Rakugo already does that, so I'm sure people will figure it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this new Rideline. Maybe I'm just gassing it up too much, maybe I'm a little bit biased, though, you know, as I said before, I'm not a Lyrical chef, I'm not a Lyrical player. But yeah, really interesting effects, and I think they're going in a pretty good direction with Lyrical. I hope they keep this up, and again, give good support to some older, you know, the dress ups, as well as, you know, some other stuff. We know we're getting Clarissa and some other stuff next week as well. So hopefully that stuff will be good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.